Hey everyone! We
Hello.
just watched a
The
movie.
boy.
It's called The Boy. Oh, sorry for the lighting. It's terrible. We're overexposed. It's too
I bet
bright and
they're all really
everything. But
offended.
yeah, I'm offended, so they should be offended. That's right. I'm telling you, you should be offended. Anyway,
So the
so we
boy.
watched The Boy, and let me tell you that I was not expecting to uh, make a positive review of this movie. Honestly, I didn't really have. It seemed like it was going to be your typical thriller, and in some ways, it kind of was until it wasn't.
Until it wasn't.
um. Okay,
And then
so you guys,
everything changed.
I really liked it a lot, and you did too,
I
didn't
did.
you?
A lot more than I expected, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So it's not perfect. There was just a few things that I didn't like about it, but namely, um, so there are a couple of dream sequences in the movie, because you have to have that in a thriller. In order to meet the legal definition of a thriller, you must have a dream sequence or two, right? So this does have a couple, and it's kind of annoying, but uh, in the context of the movie, it actually makes a little bit more sense than it did in other thriller movies that we've seen. We were talking about this earlier, but anyway.
Yeah.
Um, but oh my goodness. Okay, so it's actually really good. So it's about this girl who goes to. She's hired by this wealthy family in the UK somewhere, and to come to their mansion and watch their boy.
Dun dun.
Bum, bum, bum. If you've seen the trailer, though, the boy is a doll, a porcelain doll.
Kind of creepy.
Kind of creepy, yeah, but also kind of cliched. But um, I recommend you watch this. I highly recommend it. Actually, it is really really good. The last, the final act of the film is amazing. I will not reveal anything, but um, yeah. Okay, so it goes from it's in my mind it goes from being this kind of run of the mill kind of predictable scary movie that's
Yeah.
not really all that scary to something much better. Ended up being a lot better than either of us thought, and we were talking about it afterwards, and it's one of those movies where you can think about scenes, before earlier, and be like, oh my goodness, this makes sense because of that.
Yeah.
This
All the
makes
weird
sense
stuff
because of
that
that.
happens
Like, oh
for
my
like
gosh,
reasons.
yeah.
It's not just creepy scares or
Mm-hmm.
weird things to say. Like, yeah,
Yep.
it all fits.
Yep. I was impressed for sure. I really enjoyed it. I did not. I thought, like I said, I thought it would be pretty mediocre, and also I will say too though that visually it was interesting. Like it was well done. They did some tricks visually that I really appreciated, that made an otherwise kind of uninteresting, well, seemingly uninteresting um, concept to something that was more interesting just because of the visual style. I told Kiri that throughout the movie I felt like um, they got a couple writers to write this story, and like it was kind of dumb, but hey, let's give it to this director because he'll do something interesting with it, kind of thing. That's what I thought. That the director had this kind of dumb story, but he made it visually interesting.
He
But
did his best.
he did his best, But it ended up being even better than that.
Mhm.
The whole idea of it is a lot more interesting than it seems. So
Yeah,
anyway,
not as cliched as you think it is.
it really wasn't. It really wasn't. I really yeah. There's not much more to say really because we really don't want to give it away.
That would ruin
Um,
everything.
but there are some of you in particular that I think will really like this. Becca, my sister, you will like this. I think. I think you'll like this. I want you to see it. I want to see what you will think of it. Um, so and
What do you rate it?
okay, so I give it a tasty taco. not quite the highest rating, but that's mainly because of the dream sequences. It didn't like totally ruin the movie for me or anything like that, but like while I was watching it, it was just kind of ugh. Some minor eye roll moments here and there. There were parts of it that were a little cheesy, but really not that bad. Okay, I'm not gonna give most movies a perfect score. Even movies that I love, right? It's not gonna get a perfect score, but so anyway, yeah, that's what I think of it. Oh, absolutely. In fact, yeah, well, we want to watch it again. We were talking about that.
Mainly because of all those scenes that make sense now. I'd like to see if I'm sure there's more stuff that we didn't notice ever, and that is more interesting now that we know everything.
In that way, and this is not a comparison I ever thought I would make about this movie, but in that way, it makes me think a little bit of The Sixth Sense. Without spoiling the end of that movie, for any of you that have lived under a rock for the past 15 years and haven't seen it, the third act of that movie, makes it more interesting, makes it so that you'll want to go back and watch it and see all the details that make more sense now, kind of thing. And that was one of the joys of that was one of the things that made The Sixth Sense so great, was that it didn't simply pull the rug from under your feet and fall apart. A lot of thrillers and some thrillers that we have watched recently kind of does that. There's this twist or whatever. There's this big reveal at the end, and it's just like, wait a minute, that like legitimately doesn't make any sense. But with The Boy, not only does it make sense, but it makes it a lot creepier.
Yes, it does.
It just adds a whole other level to it.
Mm.
And I'm saying too much. As it is, I'm saying too much. So I recommend it. So what breed of taco do you give it?
I would also give it a tasty taco. Worth a see. I'm not nearly as into thrillers as Joe is, but that was an interesting one. And it's not all that scary for those of you who like hate really scary movies. There's a couple things that make you jump, but it's not super scary. There's not really any gore or anything like that. A little bit of violence and stuff. A little bit of blood, but it doesn't.
But it doesn't really. It's not a hacker slasher kind of thing.
Nothing like that. Nothing. That makes it super gross or anything.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But creepy.
Yeah, a lot better than I thought it would. A lot better than I thought it would be. I did not think I'd be recommending this so highly, but I do. I don't know what that was all about. It's time to stop this video. There is the stop button. I'm gonna push it.
Bye now.
When's it